welcome to Collect Me Must. I'm Chris.
And I'm Lucy.
And today we are going to be doing a video on the new NECA Ultimate Freddy vs. Jason Voorhees figure. And our daughter's running around all over the place, so if you hear her, I apologize. But, yeah, I got some other Jasons in the background because I'm going to do some size comparisons. That's Susie talking. But anyways, yeah, this is it. Let's show the packaging off first, like we usually do. The way they made this packaging is really cool because it's just the Jason side of the poster. If you've seen the poster, it was Jason's mask on this side, and then on the other side it was Freddy for like the verses. I don't think we're going to get the Freddy side, at least for the time being, because NECA announced that they're not allowed to make any more Freddys or Jasons right now. The Jasons I wasn't surprised about because of the lawsuit, but the Freddys, that came out of nowhere, really. It does look kind of plain, but I like it, and if they do eventually... Oh, there goes Jason. If they do eventually make the Freddy, then you can put them like side by side, the boxes, and you'll have the verses face off. This side you have another picture, which it doesn't want to focus. Let's see if it will. Yeah, that was also from another one of the different posters. The other side's the same. Then on the back you've got some different stuff, and there's a little tiny read-up that says Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees return to terrorize the teenage population, except this time they're out to get each other too. That's a terrible, terrible read-up. There's some more pictures. And then on the bottom, it's the usual design team, Randy, the director for NECA, and all that kind of stuff. And then on the inside, you get this cool insert from Camp Crystal Lake of like the woods and stuff from the movie. Let's show you what he comes with first. You get a regular machete, which doesn't have any kind of blood or anything on it. You get this fire effect, which I think is for this machete. And I'm not really sure exactly how it goes on, I'll be honest with you. I think it just kind of goes like that. It looks alright. You get this teddy bear, which this thing feels so stinking fragile. Like really, really, really fragile. These arms and the legs and stuff, the head too, feels like if you went like that and put any force on it, that they would just completely snap off. So be very, very careful with that. And also you can see, if you look up close, you can see like glue and stuff on it. Now this teddy bear, if you're wondering, well, I don't remember that from the movie. It's actually from a promo image and a deleted scene in the movie where Jason, in one of his nightmares, is sitting on his bed in his room and he's holding the teddy bear and looking at it. So this wasn't actually in the movie, so I don't know if I'm going to pose him with this or not. You also get this bloody mask, which I don't like at all. I think the blood on it looks fake as fake can be. I'm just not a fan of that. And then you get the mask that has Freddy's claws have been over. It looks cool, but if you actually look at the mask from the film with Freddy's claws over it, it's not totally movie accurate. But I think that they're using a more softer material for these straps, which I really like, because I've actually had like some of the straps break on some of the older ones. So, but yeah, we are going to do a quick jump cut and we'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back. Sorry about that. I had somebody come to my front door. And then you also get, lastly, you get this machete with this blood on it, which I'm not a real big fan of the way the blood is painted on this, just sort of straight down the edge. If you think about, like, if you were to use a machete and stab somebody, which nobody's going to do, really, I mean, unless you're crazy, but I don't think it would just be straight on there in, like, the straight pattern. Now, I do like the weathering effects on it. It does go into his hand really well. It's actually kind of hard to get out once you get it in, but it goes really well. Let's check it out with, turn it this way. And there's sort of the flame effect. I don't know if it's supposed to go on that side or the other side. It's alright, but I'm personally not posing him like that. Okay, we will talk about the figure first, and then we will do some size comparisons. He is really tall, as you can see. like way taller than any of the other Jasons. Which, if you look at this, this is like the film. The guy who played him, Ken Kersinger, he was a tall guy, but he wasn't as tall as they wanted him to be, so they actually put these lifts on his boots, which, if you're a wrestling fan, it kind of reminds me of the wrestler Kane, because they did the same thing with him. A lot of people were upset that Kane Hodder didn't play this Jason, because it would have been like the ultimate showdown of Kane Hodder and Robert Englund. But they wanted someone taller, and also they wanted someone, they filmed the movie in Canada, and they wanted somebody from the Canada area to do it. And Kane Hodder's not from Canada, so yeah. I thought Ken Kersinger was good, and I really like Freddy vs. Jason. I mean, it has its issues. As far as the design on Jason goes in the movie, I really like the design of this Jason. It's one of my favorites. And it's kind of been the iconic look for Jason since the movie happened. When you see a lot of just generic stuff made of Jason, like t-shirts or whatever, they go with this sort of look, which is very, very interesting. But he's got like the brownish overshirt, then the shirt under it, and the shirt under it. Now, what's weird is on this figure, the shirt under this here is like a purplish blue color. I will have to go back and actually watch the film, but I do not remember the very bottom shirt being that color. I thought it was a black, but I could be mistaken. Now, his legs here, I have a huge problem with. I don't know if this is picking up on camera, but it looks like the paint is just caked on. It looks really, really sloppy on the legs. It looks like it was molded in sort of a lighter brown color. And then they decided to just paint it black over top of it. And it's caked on. Like, it looks like, the shirt kind of looks like that too right here. But it looks like if you were to just go to the store and get paint yourself and paint something, it just looks caked on. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know if they were trying to make it have like a wet look or what they were going for, but I'm not a big fan of how that looks. You can see some rips and stuff here in his pants. Now, they did release a Jason from Freddy vs. Jason way back in the 2000s, and it was in a box set. It came in with Freddy. That goes for quite a bit nowadays. And then they did re-release it as a single, and I believe it was a Toys R Us exclusive, although I could be wrong about that. That one doesn't go for as much as the box set goes for, but those do not have the articulation that this one has. Now, I do believe that this is just a redo of that one. They basically took those molds and then made them have more articulation, and they updated them a little bit. But the wrinkles and the folds and everything in the shirt look really cool. The rips, I really like how that looks. The paint looks really good on that. Here you can see, if I bend it down, the back of the head. See if we can get that to focus. There we go. Now, I will show you his face, and I'm not going to knock NECA for what his face looks like. They got his face right, but his face looks horrible. Now, you may be saying, he wasn't unmasked in Freddy vs. Jason. Well, he partially was in the scene where she had to give him mouth-to-mouth because he was drowning, but his complete face was not shown. They based this off of what it would have looked like if they had shown his face, because at one point they were going to, and I have to say that I think this is one of the stupidest-looking Jason faces ever. He looks like he's trying to be some ghetto Frankenstein or something. There you go. I don't like it at all. It looks absolutely stupid. It looks absolutely terrible. I'm just not a fan of it at all. I absolutely hate it. But yeah. Now, the paint on it is a bit weird because the paint looks like the same color as the shirt. So I don't know. It's really weird, but I hate this face. I hate it. And he doesn't have the damaged eye or anything. It's probably for the best that they didn't show it in the film. Let's show you the other masks. Here's the bloody mask, which I'm not a fan of personally. I've seen a lot of people that have displayed him with this mask, and I just don't really care for it. And here is the one that's been slashed by Freddy's claws. I'm either going to display it with this one or the regular one. Let's see if we can get the teddy bear in his hand. Yeah, the teddy bear goes in his hand really well, and it actually does look kind of cool. You can kind of have him, well, you can't really have him you can have him looking down at the teddy bear. Let's see, you put the mask back on him, sort of hold the teddy bear up a little bit. Let's see if we can get it. And then you can sort of have him like looking down at it like he's sad. But now you don't get any alternate hands or anything, so you're stuck with this sort of gripping hand for the machete, and then this. It would have been cool if he would have come with some other weapons. One of the weapons he used in the film I liked was like this long pipe he used in one of the scenes to like impale somebody. And it sucks we're not getting the Freddy for the time being, but maybe eventually we will. Now, a lot of people have been saying they have really loose legs. Mine are loose, but they're not super, super loose. I actually have some figures with much looser legs than this, so it's not a huge deal as far as I'm concerned. Let's take his mask off, and we could show you the articulation. Let me back up here a little bit. His head goes down a long ways. It really does. All this joints and everything on this are really tight, so I really like it. They're not so tight that you can't move it, but they're not loose. He doesn't really look up, and it sort of turns side to side a little bit, but not a lot. His arm can go all the way around, and it can go out that far, and it has a single bend. His hand can swivel and pivot, but not a lot because you're getting hindered right here. There's no ab crunch like whatsoever. Now, I wanted to mention this shirt is like a separate rubber piece, which is cool. Now, something I don't like, see, he has a bit of a waist turn, but not really. But something I don't like in the legs, listen. I've never had a NECA figure that does that. I've heard other figures from other companies do that, but it's almost like there's a ratcheting ball joint in that, and I just don't like the sound. It scares me. It makes me think it's going to break. But that's about as far as I've been able to get the legs to go out. About that far back, about that far forward. Single bend in the knee, which doesn't really have a swivel. And then the boot, yeah, you can turn side to side, and it doesn't really pivot. So the articulation is not great, but honestly, this was probably one of the biggest and bulkiest, more Frankenstein-esque Jasons. That's probably why they decided to go with the design they did on the face, even though I'm not a fan of it. So, I mean, he wasn't limber. So a lot of that doesn't bother me. I don't play with my figures, but so the articulation doesn't really matter. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that. All right, let's do some quick comparisons, and we will wrap things up. This is the NECA Ultimate Friday the 13th Part 2 Jason. And there you can see that there is quite a bit of size difference there. This is the Ultimate Part 6 Jason Lives, which is one of my favorites. Once again, quite a size difference. And then we will go to, this is the McFarlane Toys Jason Goes to Hell Jason, which is the only Jason Goes to Hell we've ever gotten in this scale. Hopefully NECA can one day do it. But there you can see. Now this figure is alright. This figure is about 20 years old. And it doesn't have a lot of articulation. But I still think this figure is pretty cool. This was actually the first Jason Voorhees action figure to my knowledge that was ever made. This is actually the second one of it I've had. I actually had this when I was younger, when I was a teenager. And I don't know what ended up happening to it. But this is the second version of it. It's actually the bloodied version. They made a bloodied and a non-bloodied. But yeah, there's that. Let's stick the mask on him. Let's stick the machete in his hand. And let's stand him up. And let's put the box here. And we will wrap things up. I do recommend this figure, especially if you collect all the Jasons or if you really like Freddy vs. Jason. The only ones we're missing now are, we are missing 7 and 8, Jason Goes to Hell, and Jason X are the ones we're missing. Roy is out now on like the NECA store and will be showing up in Target and other stores within the next month. But those are the ones we're missing. So we're missing 7, Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Goes to Hell, and then from Jason X, you actually have the potential for 2. You have the regular Jason, which wears a very similar outfit to this, which you could do, And then, of course, Uber Jason, which hopefully they will get the license back and they will be able to do in the future. But that's going to do it for this video. Lucy stepped out, so I will say goodbye for her, and we will talk to you guys later. Bye.